Hello and welcome to Campaign Comrades, your favorite leftist spooky gaming podcast. It is officially October. We are.
I thought we weren't supposed to use that word. I thought that was a cancelable offense.
Really? What is there a spooky identity that must be represented appropriately?
I don't know.
Is it because none of us are goth? Is because none of us are goth?
Goth girls from Hot Topic?
None of us are bisexual goth women with mental health problems.
I was definitely a Hot Topic kid for like 2 years in middle school.
It's the CIA assets, the spooks.
I absolutely had a corn shirt from there.
Hell yeah. Were you ever a corn listener?
Yeah.
Amazing. New metalheads in the chat. Where you at?
Rat in a cage, right? That's Corn, isn't it?
Indeed it is.
That's the one Corn song I've listened to.
I was never a Corn listener, a Corn enjoyer. I'm not much of a regular Corn enjoyer either.
No.
You don't love our one export?
Except when it's hidden in all my food.
Mm-hmm. I love the slurry. I love the slurry. That's the good stuff.
Yeah, wait until you find out how many
illegal in every other
corn in various forms of fry or puff.
It would be illegal in any other country. Yes, that means it's good.
I saw a post on Reddit of someone who was importing Flamin' Hot Cheetos because they were outlawed in their country.
Hell yeah.
Based.
Awesome. We've already completely gone off the rails.
Yeah.
But this week, Andrew was lobbying so hard. It's like, we gotta play a scary game for October, and the rest of us were just we're just doing the Frank from Sunny meme of just no, shaking your head violently. No.
Well, I already killed all my friends in Armored Core. That's the scariest thing I've done all year.
So we acquiesced as far as we would, and we decided to play Luigi's Mansion 3.
Thank you, Nintendo.
Game. Not even spooky to babies.
I disagree, though. I played the first 30 minutes with my 3-year-old nephew, and he was like, "It's scary."
Okay, all right. I stand corrected.
There were some jump scares.
Actual baby.
When you're in the first level and you're opening up the drawers in the
Yep.
Oh yeah.
And they pop out at you. That's the only time that really happens. I don't think that happens on any of the other floors. Or maybe I just wasn't poking around in every drawer. But he got a little spookied at that one.
I'll give him that. Those were some legitimate jump scares. I was a little bit surprised.
You had to play it in the right atmosphere. You had to be playing, no lights on, dead of night.
Naked.
A storm would be preferable, but you can't control that aspect of, your playing time.
Nobody has a regular torch flashlight anymore, so it's just your cell phone flashlight under your face, blinding you from below. Yeah. Got to set the mood.
I have a torch flashlight.
I still have one of the big ones.
The big mag light, yeah, baby.
Yeah, that you can use as home defense weaponry.
Yeah.
Just got a big ass D battery. Just come on. Yeah.
Bashing people.
That'll take a guy out.
Speaking of flashlights, though, I guess that's just as good a transition as any to get into the raw gameplay of Luigi's Mansion 3. What was your favorite aspect of the gadgetry? What was your favorite part of the gadget?
Are we counting Luigi as tech?
He kind of counts, I guess. He is
definitely Luigi.
He is an ungodly creation that was only made by the follies of man, and that man being Professor Gadd.
Sucka.
Gadd.
I swear to God, we'll get it out at the top. If I had to hear him asking me for sucka one more time, I was gonna throw my fucking Pro Controller through my TV.
Luigi.
It was really him calling me Luigi.
That what is happening? I don't.
Well, this. It's appropriate. It's appropriate representation of old people. When you become old, you just turn back into a baby.
Yeah.
Both in terms of your how you look, how you act,
core functions,
bodily functions, doo-dooing yourself all the time. can only remember what happened 10 seconds ago, or
we'll never pronounce someone's name
or in a past life. The only things that are actually can penetrate your baby brain.
Can penetrate the smoothness.
Yeah, epigenetic memory and mommy want milky. That's
who Assassin's Creed should be putting in the into the fucking
into the animus. Just what, an old man?
Yeah, just old people. Because they could just access those memories more easily.
Oh, they absolutely, they absolutely do. You know, they're like, you know, our Lord and Savior Joe Brandon's just constantly living in the year 1945.
In the animus. Besides Luigi, though, I agree with Matt. The suction cup is my favorite.
There wasn't enough. Was the best feeling to land,
right? Yeah.
There wasn't enough of the dark matter flashlight.
Like we'll call it like the X-ray.
I was walking around with that thing on blast.
Yeah, it's like whenever you had like, I have to admit, like a function of the game that I did find helpful. There was only a handful of times, because I will admit I am still baby brained, that like there are a few bits of like the progression puzzles. There was like at least a couple times that stumped me for 30 seconds. Sure. So I went to my Virtual Boy menu, which was a feature and a callback that I loved, that your communication device
that was a really menu cool.
was the all red Virtual Boy VR headset. Was really funny.
Of my it's classic catalog
of your Nintendo collection. Yeah, so that was really cool. But you pull that up, you can just talk to Gadd, and like sometimes he has like a direct tip for you, but then it was just like the reminders, just like, dumbass, cycle through all your tools. If that just became like the refrain. It's like, oh, I'm stumped. Let's do suction cup. Let's do, you know, the black light. Let's see if
there was one.
Let's see if any ghost has come all around this room.
There was one on the plant level where the vine grabs you, and you're supposed to drop Luigi to pick up the chainsaw.
Yeah.
And I was just sitting there as like, what?
Getting your health drained.
Yeah. I was just sitting there as like smashing the jump button because it was the only thing that was doing anything. And it was like, oh, is this just like a scripted moment where I'm supposed to like lose like all my health? And like, I'm just unlucky that I came in here at full health, even though this game, you know, hands out hearts like candy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I know that exact spot.
Like, you gotta use Luigi, you dummy.
Yeah, Luigi was fun. Like the X-ray thing was cool, but it's just like
when in doubt, Luigi out.
You know, it was just flashlighting everything was just that was just the way to, whether it's using the X-ray bulb or just the regular one. You're flashlighting. When I first came back to
this game, I forgot that the bumpers controlled stuff. So I was like, wow, I can't believe Nintendo released a game that requires claw grip to be able to aim. And
no, I started off doing claw grip stuff, but then I soon realized that like, yeah, you can do the flashlight with R1, and then you can do the suction cup with L1.
Yeah.
Huge improvement, because let's also get that out of the way right at the top.
I didn't fucking know that. Oh my god.
That sucks for you.
It's horrible when you play with claw grip. It's horrible if you play with claw grip.
So like this game in my mind, for, you know, said Nintendo always gets graded on a curve, right? You know, you're grading for what it is, right? But without the control scheme, this would be a 10 out of 10 certified masterpiece in my mind. But the controls are fucking hell.
Trash.
They make me want to kill someone.
It makes me hate the game, to be perfectly, like, this is a game I want to like, and just the controls make me absolutely despise it.
The shoulder buttons improve it a bit.
They really do.
You should try that before.
No, I'm so mad. That does make it things significantly better.
I never had an issue where I had to claw grip, really.
Well, it's because like you're trying to the other things are on the
flashlight's A.
Yeah, the flashlight and the other thing are first introduced in the suction cup are first introduced to you by the face buttons. The X-ray button is only ever a face button. That's the only one because that's not like a combat tool. But so the other ones, yeah, are on. They. It took some tinkering to realize. Oh, yeah, that works that way. I was complaining to you guys this way as well. Like I had to go in and switch the aiming from omnidirectional to horizontal, and then I was using the gyro control for from the pro controller to do up and down because otherwise it's just wild. It's just it's so hard to track.
It's absolutely designed and like intended for gyro to like play some sort of role in, because once you start using gyro to do something with your aiming, doesn't matter what, it becomes a lot smoother of an experience.
It really changed it up a lot because it just aiming up and down is you do
can't
that
really
much
do that,
less.
Mike. I know.
I can't do that, so I had to suffer and got used to the control schemes, and now am an expert in playing.
Well,
Luigi's
it's
Mansion
almost
3.
a callback to like old timey tank controls from like the original Resident Evils and stuff like that. So like the fixed camera.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It was like, are you supposed to stop and then aim? Is that how you're supposed to do it? I was like, yeah. It's like, have they put tank controls in my Nintendo game? What the fuck?
It certainly feels that way.
The fixed camera is kind of cool for this type of game.
Oh, I like how it works for the levels.
It allows for
right?
good secrets.
And I like how it just visually will present each of like the mini levels. I enjoy that aspect of the camera.
I actually liked that part of the game. How the hotel was broken out by floor with like little slices of different like zones.
The only one that
really
like
enjoyed
the only one that
medieval
actually
zone.
Me too. The only one that actually really took me out of it was the pyramid, the desert zone. It's like, what the fuck? You've got a fucking desert on a floor here.
It was cool though.
It was fine, but it was the one that took me out of it the most. Is like, you're not in a hotel anymore. Because everything else just feels like, oh yeah, it's like a Disney hotel. It's got like a theme.
Yeah.
Every level's got a theme. It still architecturally felt like
like I would absolutely go to the
building
and get a room there, get impaled by the archers.
Talk up some busty wench while chowing down on a turkey leg that's bigger than my head.
Mutton.
Absolutely.
It's all men want.
Give me more. But before we like really kind of dive into the specific levels, the bosses, what our favorite and least favorite elements of the game are, I have just a few notes on the overall series, because obviously this is the third in the Luigi's Mansion series. The first one was an original launch title for the GameCube in 2001.
Raise your hand if you played that game.
It was a launch title?
Yeah, for those of you who had a GameCube, did you play that one?
I did not. I may have played it at friends' houses or like seen it played, but I did not. I beat the
shit out of that game.
It was only the second mainline Nintendo game to not feature Mario. The second one, it was the second, the first being Mario is missing.
Everyone's favorite educational Mario game.
This was the one surprise to me. I'm no surprise that this is what introduced Gadd. And I mean, that's obviously a time one, but like I didn't know that this was where King Boo got his origins. Was the original.
Oh, I didn't realize
Luigi's
that
Mansion.
It's kind of
before that.
nebulous.
Boos were a thing.
Yeah,
but King
and there
Boo,
was like there was a big Boo.
You're right. It is nebulous, and it's a lot like say like Bowser had different names and in different styles. Yeah, so it's a little bit semantic, but yeah, King Boo as we know him was first introduced in the first Luigi's Mansion,
wearing a crown, King Boo, because then he shows up again in Mario Sunshine because same engine, similar engine, like same assets, something like that.
And you you taught me this, but I saw this in the notes as well, that Sunshine is also one of the other prominent mentions of Gadd. He's the one who created the water backpack.
The pack, and he made Flood and the
Flood,
paintbrush that Bowser Jr. uses.
I had Mario Sunshine. That was my GameCube game that I think came with the GameCube.
It was absolutely a bundle at one point in time or another.
I can't believe it was a Luigi game. I didn't realize that that's the GameCube.
Yeah, that's pretty astounding, right? To not do a mainline Mario game as one of your launch titles, but to do his shit kid brother.
Yeah. But
I mean, you have to remember,
he's a dumbass.
Launch title?
Like, generally speaking,
I don't think so, because it must have come after if Gadd was a thing after that.
Generally speaking, the Nintendo 64 and Nintendo GameCube era were actually kind of low points for Nintendo at that point in time. Coming off the success that was the Super Nintendo, and they're pretty much like ubiquitous, like, video games where you have a Nintendo, not a Sega was still, trying to, be what Nintendo don't. But, Sony taking over with the PlayStation 1 and the Nintendo 64 era did set them back a little bit. And the Nintendo 64, while nostalgic for a lot of millennials, did not sell as well as people remember. And the GameCube had a similar issue. And that's why the Wii was such a big hit and such a standout. It was Nintendo's return to form.
You love it when you're riding your whole bottom line basically off of a glorified tech demo, right? It's just that Wii Sports is what did that, because everybody playing Wii Sports.
Yeah, Mario Sunshine was 2002, so it was far
a year after. I just looked it up. Yeah. But so speaking of tech demos, though, it was originally shown as a tech demo for the GameCube, showing off its graphical capabilities at the Nintendo Space World trade show in 2000.
Amazing.
And do you remember the jump in graphics back in the day from Nintendo 64 to GameCube, that era jump?
I don't, because in my mind, games have always looked good. It always have looked how they look now.
I can when you take the glasses off, I can remember that graphical fidelity jump. And the GameCube in particular, that was the most powerful console of the time. It was stronger than the PS2. That was their whole.
Dude, Metroid Prime was incredible.
Nintendo, the last time Nintendo went more powerful than their competition was the GameCube.
I mean, I liked the GameCube.
They've gone under power.
My cousins had a GameCube. I feel like whenever I went there, we only ever played sports games because they were sports sickos.
Yeah,
and still are.
I had MLB Slugfest 2003.
Oh fuck!
On the GameCube.
Just forever one of the best games.
Smash Bros. Melee.
I had that as well.
First Smash Bros. Game I ever played.
But we're getting a little bit derailed.
A little bit.
Yeah. Becoming a GameCube episode.
Yeah.
The sequel for Luigi's Mansion, Dark Moon, came out 12 years later. That's such a long period between games.
Nintendo do be gapping some of their games.
So it was a 3DS title. So yeah, they didn't even have one on the DS. It was just a 3DS title. Yeah. The original got
the fact that it was
remake.
a 3DS title was them acknowledging that the Wii U sucked.
Yeah, we made a bit of a mistake there. But
we did an oopsie.
The original has a 3DS remake, which maybe I should get that one, because who knows that we'd get a remake for that one, because we are getting a remake for Dark Moon for the Switch. That one was just announced on one of the recent directs. So be on the lookouts for that one. Yeah. I may end up picking that up. When I got my DS and went through getting a collection, I almost bought these, but I'm glad I didn't, because we're getting an updated one. But that brings us to Luigi's Mansion 3, which came out in 2019. So we're looking at 2001, 2013, and then 2019. So they're closing the gap. They went 12, then 6 years. So not bad. not bad.
I mean,
Whatever. It's still
the
been
Switch's
it's been
success-
thousands of years without a Waluigi game, and that's a fucking travesty.
Mhm.
I mean, technically speaking, it's been infinite years because if there's never been one, you can't have a been years since.
Still waiting.
Yeah,
Still waiting.
logarithmic.
So we saw a bunch of gaming or a bunch of gameplay improvements and new mechanics introduced in Luigi's Mansion 3. You got like your jump thing with was one of my favorite little animations because he makes a funny noise when he does the
He's
boost,
like nervous.
the boost
I'm
jump
not gonna
thing.
lie. Luigi's noises all sound like he's getting some form of sexual pleasure.
He's getting sucked off by Birdo. Y'all seen that
Getting the good.
That's
good.
why
Right,
Gadd's always going sucka sucka.
mm-hmm.
He knows.
So let's see. We already talked about, the absolute mad lad Luigi, but that's what introduced multiplayer to the Luigi's Mansion series. Have any of us played
No.
this game multiplayer?
Oh
I've
no.
not.
And
It-
Luigi was introduced in the re-release of the original, I believe I read. Is that someone check me on that? Or was it in Dark Moon? It was one of the two.
Luigi.
I thought
Doing some
Luigi was in
Luigi
this one.
research. No, this is not Luigi's first appearance. I thought it was too, and I
Because the way that Gadd talks about it.
right, exactly. It's like he acts like it's a new thing, but he
So
existed.
in Luigi's Mansion for the 3DS, Luigi serves as the second player in the game's new multiplayer mode.
Yeah, that's when he was first introduced.
So when did that come out though? So I guess
It's
you are
probably
right.
the fact that
I
it's probably
guess-
the fact that in Luigi's Mansion 3, you as a single player now get to control and use him for puzzles, and it's not
Yeah.
just multiplayer mechanic.
Got it. Yeah, that's how you play as multiplayer.
Because like
in
he's
this game
heavily
still.
involved in all of the puzzle gimmicks.
Right? Because you'll start sucking something, and then you need to.
Oh,
need
you
to
can't
drop
flip
Luigi.
it with just one Luigi with a plunger. You got to do Luigi with his plunger too.
One of the more annoying monster that you only come across like twice in terms of actual core progression are the ones that block the door, and it's got like the little tendrils, and you've got to have one grab the other. And I just found the controls to not be, again, problem with the controls. That's always seems
Yes.
to be where the criticism comes down. Like it wasn't registering that I was fully pulling one direction, so it like then the invisible timer would run up.
I
And he
found
would
the
shake us
ghost
free.
when you'd be pulling back on their tail, the directionality wasn't always
was
very
annoying.
good.
Oh,
Yes.
it was never it was
Not
completely
always the
random.
opposite.
It was completely
Yeah.
random. You're just wildly moving the joystick.
Until you
until
find the
you-
one that
yeah.
works.
It has nothing to do with like going the opposite direction that they're pulling. No.
Yeah.
But I
It
did
makes
enjoy
sense.
slamming ghosts around. That was fun.
Mhm.
Yes.
Always fun
That was a
to
good
slam
addition to
one
the
into
combat.
another, to slam one
Yeah.
into the other. That's
Yeah.
always fun.
That made group encounters way better to handle.
Agreed.
It took me a second to realize this, after that first play session where like I'm only getting surrounded by like 3 of the little ghosts, and like I'm getting they're touching me with their
Destroyed.
ethereal hands, and taking my health, stealing my health, stealing my essence. The best thing was just you use the jump. You do a jump and it repels
Yeah, clear 'em out.
everybody. So that was key. Like it took me like an hour or so to a little bit more maybe, because that first session was like a half hour, and then like an hour or so into my second session with it, that part of the combat clicked for me, and I was much happier with it. But as I was like going through it, and like you would get to some of these boss fights, speaking of multiplayer, I was just thinking like, oh yeah, these would be infinitely easier with multiplayer, right? You know, you've got one person dealing with mobs, you've got the other one, you know, chucking something at the bosses that, you know, need to, you know, got to send projectiles back at them. And that was always the hardest part of boss encounters, because again, it was reliant upon the controls was, you know, like sucking up a bomb and shooting it back at the
piano guy.
Piano guy was one of the worst, and we'll get to. I just have a few more.
I actually had the hardest
things,
time
and we'll
with
talk about the night guy.
Yeah,
oh,
because I didn't realize the timing on flashing him initially. I was trying to figure out why
he peeks his head up over his shield.
Couldn't figure out why I couldn't shoot his shield with a suction cup to pull it away or something like that.
I had a hard time with the guy on the duck floaty. It took me a while to realize I could suck up his duck beak.
Oh yeah, then you shoot him at the spikes on the wall. Yeah, he was one of my favorites. That was one of my favorite levels. But we'll get to that in a second. I just want to. We talked about, you know, the true multiplayer with Luigi in Luigi's Mansion 3. So this game won Best Family Game at the Game Awards in 2019,
which we've commented on before. Might as well be retitled Nintendo Game.
Yeah, Best Nintendo Game. Yeah. It was originally planned as a Wii U title, which, you know,
glad they saved it.
Yeah, I guess they're
I mean, it would have come to Switch anyway, because all the good Wii U games, except for Xenoblade Chronicles X, have come to Switch.
Whoever's whoever made that decision probably got a fucking raise, because as of March 2023, it has sold 12.82 million copies worldwide.
Pretty sure that's more copies than the Wii U had as consoles sold in the US.
Yeah, probably.
And that's with its doo-doo trash controls.
But it is one of the more successful in their lineup. You know, received strong review scores. Probably most of the critiques are similar to what we've leveled at it. Just controls, just absolute dog water. But yeah, let's move into and talk about what were our favorite levels and bosses.
The Wii U sold worldwide. I was wrong. Worldwide, 13.5 million consoles.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
wow.
Luigi's Mansion 3 almost outsells the Wii U by itself.
That's insane. I didn't know the Wii U numbers were that bad.
Oh no, it was bad.
It was pretty terrible. All right, so favorite levels and bosses, and then we can do least favorite as well.
I kind of enjoyed the pyramid one, if we're being honest. Like I thought, I mean, yeah, it definitely takes you out of the hotel aspect of it, you know, being you know, maybe it's just a magical little thing. There was also like waterways in each hotel.
It's a little pocket dimension.
Yeah. But I enjoyed that one. I thought it was I thought that boss in particular was kind of challenging and fun. I enjoyed the bosses where they do a slam and you had to jump over it, because you got to use the jump function some more. So I do appreciate the wow noise that Luigi makes. So yeah, that was definitely one of my favorites. I like I said, I actually enjoyed the piano one as well. I know that one, it definitely took me a while to figure out how the fuck to do it. But once I did, I kind of enjoyed that fight, because it was, you know, pretty simple, and it definitely teaches you how to progress. That to me was like one of the first true bosses that you know, showed you the progression of how the boss fights were going to work and like the different stages. So I enjoyed that one a lot. I really hated the fucking duck one. I popped my balloon a lot.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, that does happen, because the tough one for that one is just the, you know, you think you're you know, propelling yourself far away enough from his attacks, but you go too far, so you go into a wall and pop yourself.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
And then you gotta
tough.
Luigi has
It
to
had a
blow,
lot
blow,
of
blow.
shades of in Mario Sunshine right before the final fight. You have to navigate this lava tunnel with a boat, and you have to direct the boat with your water flow. And if you bump anything, you crash in the lava and die and have to start over.
Amazing.
I agree with Mike. I enjoyed the piano fight actually. I liked throwing the bombs at the piano. I found that to be an enjoyable mechanic. And then I like the hotel shops. I just liked that level design. I thought that was fun. It teaches you how to use Luigi.
Oh, the one where with all the different little yeah. That one.
Hotel shops that ends with the mall cop. He was
with the mall cop.
He was fun. So that's the one that first one that you have to fight with Luigi, because you're right. That's the level that teaches you how to use him. Because he shoots a water gun at you.
And I just enjoyed, like, you guys might have been rocking flashlight always. I'm just sucking. I'm sucking everything.
Oh yeah,
Sucking ghosts.
I
coins.
sucked every square inch of every room I was in.
Mm-hmm.
It's a suck simulator.
I mean, you hire someone with a vacuum in there to clean. I'm like Frank in the episode where everyone's got the flu.
Yeah.
Gotta clean the city.
All right, Matt, what about yourself?
So I was gonna, before I agree on the piano fight, I actually did enjoy the piano fight. Took a little bit for me to figure out what was going on, because I thought you had to shoot the piano when he would slam down, so you could you had like a target sign. Yeah. So that's what I was trying to do for a little bit.
Same here.
But then I thought that fight had a good mix of mechanics. My favorite level, as I've said before, was the medieval level. I thought that was the most fun and thematic.
Each room in that one just looked really cool. It had some really cool, anytime I see a stockade, I want to put my head and arms through it.
I must feel like a 14th century ne'er-do-well.
Yeah. I did think that boss fight was pretty fun too.
Yeah. Like, I don't necessarily think I would say there's anything that I would.
Yeah. All the boss names are good.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think there's anything I would classify as a least favorite. Maybe the plant level was a little annoying.
I've got a pretty solid least favorite, and it's again comes back to the controls. I hadn't figured it out yet. See, for me, it was the chef souffle.
Oh,
yeah.
Because he's tough. That's a small area too. It's like
area.
That was a tough fight.
You can run out of stuff to shoot, and you have to wait for him to throw fish at you.
Yep.
And I had not. That was when I was really switching controls, and I hadn't fully figured out the gyro yet. The next
gyro.
Yes. The next boss. The next boss was the piano one, and I had gotten better at it, but was still struggling a little bit. So I missed a lot of bomb shots. So it went longer than it needed to. Like, I had figured out the pattern and what needed to be done, but I was just missing the shot. So it would just recycle, and it became a resource management thing of just not dying. So that one was, like, for me again, why it was just brought down by the controls. I do think it was I hadn't fully meshed with it yet. I do agree it's one of the better ones, particularly early on, where it starts introducing a bunch more mechanics, because I think that was the first one that really introduced the suction cup. So
the other thing that sucks with the chef fight is not only is it small and you have those resource issues, but his attack covers so much ground and lasts like a pretty long time.
I think running in circles till I could grab a fish.
Yeah, exactly.
I think he was miss and then just repeat. I honestly think he was the one that was, like, not fun.
I forgot about him, honestly.
Because I still think that the hardest as hard as these are, because let's be honest, it still is a baby game.
What makes this game hard is the goddamn shit controls, and that's what's so frustrating about it to me.
I was going to say the thing that makes
it's
it hard
artificial
is the fact that you know it's a baby
Yes.
game, and when you start to get frustrated because you can't figure something out that like a 5-year-old on a sugar high could.
Yeah.
Well, it brings me back to my childhood when I also couldn't figure out the baby games, and then it makes me feel terrible.
Well, I'm surprised nobody
Nothing's
mentioned.
changed.
I'm surprised nobody's mentioned the kaiju fight when you fight Gojira.
Oh, I forgot about that one.
In Paranormal Productions.
There's so many levels to this game that have so many like unique features
and memorable
like,
bits, like going through the cameras and shit. Like that puzzle was one of the best
I liked
ones.
A lot. I was just about to talk about that because he was my favorite ghost. His like melancholy like director, like
apparently
a director without my megaphone.
You don't have to suck him up, because once you get him his megaphone and you fight
a director
Godzilla,
that doesn't have to be sucked.
Yeah. He's one of the good ones, folks.
He just wants to make his film.
There. He's a true artiste, but so he goes back to his his booth, and is like he's looking at dailies. He's doing his.
And you can talk to him.
He's in the editing
I'm
booth.
Not ready yet.
But so apparently, though, if you do suck him up, you get an achievement for it. You don't have to, and if you do, you get an achievement for it.
I didn't suck him.
Neither did I.
Show no mercy.
I let him be.
He just wanted to make his art.
I would say the hardest boss, though, was probably surprisingly actually not King Boo. The final boss. I think the hardest one was actually I probably put two of them somewhat even. I'd say probably Helen Gravely herself, the hotel owner, and that's because you have to be using. I mean, obviously you can't control them both at the same time, but you have to split up Luigi and Luigi. He's got to go down to like turn off these barriers. So it's like you got to be paying attention. It's like you're doing two things at once. It's like you're navigating Luigi, trying to flip these switches. You're trying to not get zapped by the barriers that you're trying to turn off that's going up on the upper level. It's like these like energy wall things. And you're also trying to run away from her. She's not like super aggro because it knows what you're dealing with, but like you're kind of have to switch back and forth to try to make sure that you don't die. So like that part was kind of what made it, I think, one of the bigger challenges. But then the other one was the what are they called? The three magicians, the twisted sweets, because the keeping track of the hats would start off and it was totally fine, like your simple eye tracking thing, but then it just goes crazy. It goes wild. And it's
I just didn't track them.
Yeah, I basically ended up doing it by dumb luck.
Yeah, same. I just beat it earlier, and it was like, it's actually they did tip you off because every once in a while towards the end of one of their little loops, one of the guys would pop out and be like, ha, and like give you a little wave so you could just track one at the end, like through like 2 circles and get it that way so you didn't have to track the whole time. But that one was definitely, if you were trying to track it, difficult.
But in terms of my favorite boss, it's tough because my favorite level is the Boiler Works, the sub basement. That was my favorite level. I like
that.
The
has
puzzles.
the most most unique puzzles and uses all different mechanics, and that was a good one.
I just liked the look of it too. It was graphically pretty impressive for a Switch game. Some like cool reflection.
I mean, I think because this game is so small. Like all I was gonna say is like because this game is so small, I think it could pull a lot more out of the fidelity that the Switch can try to push, and like not make the Switch want to explode. Like some games, trying to push it to its limits.
Push it to the limit. I do feel like those ones were say the two levels that were my favorite, the medieval one and Boiler Works, because they had these. It was the lighting. It was what the Switch was able to do with the lighting. It was like, you had some impressive metallic reflections. You had some kind of the water. There was some good use of light and shadow.
Path ray tracing.
Yeah.
Pretty sure if the Switch tried to ray trace, it would actually fucking incinerate.
Yeah, just explode.
Turn to dust.
Melt.
I have a tough time picking my favorite boss. I don't know. I really liked. I actually liked. What's his name? Is it just Clem? That's his name. Clem the handyman. I actually liked that one, despite again fighting the controls a little bit. But I didn't struggle too much with it. I really have a tough time. I really have a tough time deciding which one. I like that one. I like the pirate ship, Captain Fishhook, the pirate shark. That one's fun. It's a short level. It's a very short level. It's just like, because it's you have
they're all pretty short levels.
But there are some that are shorter. If so long as you're not going for trying to find every secret and all that stuff. It's like the length for that one is like you've got to go back to Boiler Works to free Toad, to free another Toad to get an extra part for your vacuum thing that lets it, like, you can plug into an outlet in it, because there's a big ship is blocking the doorway, so you've got to super suck that out of the way, and then you just basically walk through, you go up to a shore. Yeah, you can do some exploration a little bit, but you ring a bell and you go up on a boat, and the ghost comes up, and it's
if you think about
the ghost possesses the ship and it tries to eat you.
If you think about it, Luigi's pretty based in the fact that he's not just saving his brother and Princess Peach and leaving. He's saving the subservient race that they drag along with them.
He saves them for. I mean, he saves Gadd first, but then it's he does the working man first.
Yeah.
I mean, he had to save Gadd first.
Peach is the last one to get saved. She's got to exist in purgatory for the longest.
Yeah, she's a woman.
Exactly. She's part of the elite ruling class. It's the most suffering she'll ever have to deal with. So for those of us who've finished the game fully, though, whether now or in the past, what your final, one is this a spooky enough game for our October inclusion?
Let's see here. Haunted Hotel, The Shining, anyone? Ghosts, any number of ghost movies, like Ghost or Ghost 13.
How have we not Ghosts? Have we not talked about Polterpup and Polter Kitty?
Polter Kitty. I was gonna bring that up.
Say Polterpup is incredibly dark. Boy. It's got to be Luigi's childhood dog who's been long dead and is now haunting
Mario killed.
Yeah, it's now haunting them.
So my headcanon for how that plays out, it's like when Dio and Jonathan first meet, and he
kills his dog.
Yeah.
I've seen enough JoJo to get that reference.
You know that reference? Yeah, that's early on. Who do you think killed Polterpup? Gadd? Is he the true villain?
Mario. No, 100% Mario. That's like
Daisy killed the dog, so Luigi would love her and not the dog.
Yeah, that's a good one.
No, Luigi killed him because he forgot to feed him because he's a dumb fuck.
He's a dumb piece of shit.
Luigi pulled a Mac.
Hence why the dog is haunting him and not Mario. I don't think Mario can see him.
Fair. See, I have it as like,
it's like you
let Mario kill me.
Speaking of Mario, when you free Mario at the end and he like starts going to like the top level to then free Daisy. It's just the juxtaposition between him and Luigi
Peach.
is hilarious. But I said Daisy again, yeah, to save Peach. To the juxtaposition between Mario and Luigi is hilarious. Just showing how absolutely insane Mario is. It's like, come on, we gotta go. And it's like doing these crazy things, like jumping up like 10 stories. Like he does these like crazy wall flips to get to the top level. And Luigi's like, oh, and has to like skirt around the edges to find a ladder. And you know, Mario just keeps like lapping him. It's just like, you know, he's just a daredevil who has, you know, contempt for God's laws.
He is the original Jumpman.
Such as gravity. You know, like, just laughs in the face of God's laws and physics. Just like
I remember watching years ago a YouTube video of someone doing like the scales of what like Mario's jumping abilities would look like for like a regular sized person, and it's insane.
What's Mario's vertical? Let's go.
Too much.
Huge, enormous vert.
Got to get him at the
60.
combine.
At least 60-inch vert.
I mean, well over that, because he's if you're scaling his
Isn't he
single
like
block
3
pixel
feet?
body, if you're scaling his single block pixel body as the normal average size human of like 5'7" or whatever the number is.
He could
Oh, I
scale
just
the Twin
assumed
Towers.
I assumed he was just like, you know, a 3'5" old Italian dude. They're not tall.
He's canonically like under 30.
Fair. So he's not shriveled.
He's
So I guess he's like
15.
4 feet.
He's 15 and
He's like
he's
20
got a
something.
mustache.
Yeah,
It's,
but if you like,
it's accurate for
Yeah, again,
Italian.
accurate Italian representation.
Yeah.
like even if you say he's 4 feet tall, he's easily clearing over 3 times his height there. So he's easily clearing 12 feet.
Yeah, you're right.
Vert, like box jump. Like his feet are clearing 12 feet. Like minimum. So we're talking probably close to 16 to 20 foot vertical. Like
With this man on the Olympic team.
For Italy.
No, man, he's from Brooklyn.
That's it's like the racial draft, but for Mario, is he American, Italian, or Japanese?
Who's laying claim?
we, the Jewish faith, claim Mario.
So what did you guys think of the Polter Kitty fights?
They were kind of annoying at first.
I in general agree that they were more annoying than interesting.
I would call them a nuisance.
Yeah,
The
I
only
didn't have
thing
the
that annoyed me in
patience.
this game was the amount of times I had to chase fucking buttons down for mice.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the amount
That
of
one
times
took
that
me
he's
a
watched it
while.
happen and then he holds the button out again, like daring it to be stolen.
Did you not grab the wheel of cheese to lure him out?
I did, but I couldn't get the timing right, and he would run away, and then I was trying to use Luigi to like suction outside of the hole so that the mouse couldn't run in while I was like suctioning him out. I was getting crazy with it.
The biggest nuisance were things like the bats and crows.
Yeah.
Because again, you're just getting they're
I
just
sucked up
ramming you
every
for
single
5
life
health.
form I ran into.
No, me too. But again, you're tied
that
with
crow.
those ones because they're flying. The crows and the bats, because they fly. You gotta use the gyro to go up, and so again, just the controls just getting in the way. For those were a pain in the ass. Yeah, Polter Kitty was like kind of annoying. I found the first one to be actually pretty easy, but for some reason on the second go, the second round of them, like I forget which, because you have each time you got to do it like what 3 times because she's got 3 tails that you gotta suck off. Oh yeah, it's like the trick is like she like is prowling up behind you, jumps down, you gotta have your back to her. And then it's like right when she rears up to get it, you turn around and flash her. For some reason, on like so this is in the second round of it, like towards the end of the game, It's like it's the last bit of it when you go back to the stage from the what's the Twisted Sweets level. When you go back to the stage there, for some reason, after now doing it like 5 times successfully before that, the timing just was so off. I don't know what was going on. She kept just running away, and I kept having to redo it, and it was really frustrating. Like I just got stuck on that for I don't know what I ended up doing. I don't know if I ended up bringing Luigi out as well and did it that way. But just like the timing was just wild. I don't know why it wasn't working. But by the end of the game, because I was able to buy so many golden bones, King Boo was a snooze. It did
the golden bones are so easy to buy.
Yeah, it did eat some health, but like I think I maybe only used like 1 in that fight, which is still a little embarrassing to admit, but whatever. But yeah, I think at that point I had 10 stocked up, so I literally had over 1,000 health.
Well, I mean, if you're not trying to do all of the side quests like the gems and the booze, like there's nothing else to spend it on.
I don't give a shit.
So you're getting a shit ton of money.
I basically only went for the ones that were on my path, like as I was going around.
Right.
Like,
if I encountered it. Yep.
I will say I didn't see this through, but apparently how much gold you have influences the final
your score
hotel.
Does it affect your score at the end? Is that what it does?
Well, it makes the hotel like nicer. I guess is kind of how I read it.
I never
gets rebuilt.
I never revisited it after winning. Did anybody do the Twisted Tower like DLC
multiplayer
content
shit?
Or any of the multiplayer, any of that?
Nope.
No.
I don't need to be more embarrassed about how bad my skills are at this game.
Or
getting beat by actual 5-year-olds.
Well, here's the thing: is I do think as most Nintendo games, they are marketed at kids, but the majority of people who own and play them regularly are 30-something millennials.
Yeah, because the kids are just like picking it up, playing it. They're not.
Well, yeah.
Trying
now
to
the modern
the
generation of child only knows video games through an iPad interface.
Yeah,
that as well.
In Roblox. But I will say this is a story of returning power to the workers, and I respect that.
Yeah, and this is the Italian American legacy that we need to talk about. The labor movements that the Italian Americans in New York were
Italian
spearheading.
Americans are a hardworking group of cowards.
Now they're all just small
waste management
owners.
Organizing doesn't count, Mike.
Hey, our first Italian American congressman from New York was a socialist, so suck on that.
All in all, I enjoyed this game. Frustrations included. I thought this was fun. It did not overstay its welcome. I finished it in like just over 10 hours. Like I had a few. It's like I finished it over a weekend. I just like sat down and had a couple good sessions of gameplay and just kind of powered right through it. So it was, in terms of games having to play for the pod, it was pretty manageable, and I enjoyed it. Like those controls though, just can't complain about them enough, and it truly is a shame, because otherwise, again, it would be a standout.
Incredible game.
So I have mixed opinions. I think this is a super cute, like spooky, fun.
About to be like,
game.
This wasn't scary. You guys are. I'm leaving.
I mean,
podcast.
that's
not
true.
hardcore enough.
That's true. That's all. Those all are true points. But that's not what this game's trying to be. So that's okay. I'm not gonna take points off for it. But I hate the controls. I hate the controls so much. And I know I am
playing
also
claw grip.
yeah, and I know I'm also the
You gotta do the armored.
isometric.
You gotta do the armored core thing. You gotta flip it around.
Inverted controller.
You gotta flip it around. If you're not giving yourself carpal tunnel, you're not a real gamer.
I guess
See,
I'm
my
just not
biggest
committed
issue
enough.
was every time a mission started, I was hoping Gadd would brief me down, and he was really just not.
I've got a mission for you, Luigi.
Sucka, Luigi.
Yeah, that's the only mission
Balaam,
Gadd's given.
Balaam corpse gotta talk to you.
Sucka.
What do you think about the move from an actual mansion to the hotel? I heard like that was like
it.
they kind of like were like they knew that we're kind of courting controversy here by making this change of moving away from a true mansion. Can you truly call it Luigi's Mansion 3?
I mean, there's plenty of
hotel.
historic
Register
mansions
that.
that have been converted to hotels. So like,
Yeah, no, I thought that's where I think this game also does shine. The level design's great. It looks great. It's fun to explore.
It lets them go crazy, right? You know, that's for good.
You can really pack stuff into a
bit too
tiny
much.
level, and then not let it get like too much. Like by the time it's too much, you're on
doesn't
to the next
overstay its
level, and
welcome.
Yeah.
And it's each one feels fresh and palate. You know, it's each one cleanses the palate on its own, and you get to something new. If you don't vibe with, say, like for me, as much the sand level, okay, whatever. You're onto the magic suites.
Yeah, you're not in the sand level for 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah.
And I do like the progression of gameplay. I think the game does a good job upon building on itself as you figure out how to solve each puzzle and defeat each enemy. I thought that was well done. And I will say Luigi is a good horror protagonist. Like Mario in a horror movie, Mario, Peach, they are getting murked. Like they're done first and second. Yeah. So like it is
modern girl boss confident. Peach ain't getting murked.
Yeah. Exactly. So like Luigi is a good horror game protagonist. He fits the bill.
You need a gay little coward.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to go back to the mansion versus hotel, and I think it's a matter of semantics. And you might as well have just named it Luigi's private property.
Private estate, yeah. Luigi's estate planning.
Yeah.
Just rename the entire franchise Ghostbusters.
I was looking into it, and Miyamoto was like in an interview insisting that this was not inspired by Ghostbusters.
Sure.
We were explicitly trying to not do that. It's like, okay, buddy.
Yeah. Who are you gonna call? Luigi. Sucka.
Luigi. I'm a Luigi.
It is always so weird to me how everybody else in any Mario game just speaks gibberish, and like I
was thinking about that.
I don't quite understand why.
Yeah, well, English sounds like gibberish to people from other languages.
Sure, I guess, but like they're still hiring voice actors, right? Is it just as a way to like save money on writing? It's just like they can put it into a computer.
See, what they do is they don't tell you what you're recording for,
right?
And they just put you in the booth. Just give you prompts.
It's like it's been a baffling bit to me. It's like for a bunch of Nintendo games, like why they insist on not doing voice acting when they still have voice actors just doing weird either gibberish.
It's one of the funny bits in
expressions. They do the same thing in Zelda. They do the same thing in Zelda.
Well, Tears of the Kingdom has fully voiced.
They've got sections that are fully voiced. They've got fucking Matt Mercer is fucking Ganon Daddy.
They've got fully voiced cutscenes, but then there's just our silent Link boy. Whenever anyone is like talking to him,
hey, Pokemon's got 0 voice acting. It's all
Ash. So Ash has all the voice acting you need.
All right, so I mean, we don't rate our video game.
No, we only
Discussions.
save the beratement for adaptations.
When are we getting a Luigi's Mansion movie?
Oh, it's happening. No, it's happening. Charlie Day has been advocating for it after the success
Yeah.
of the Mario
Nice.
movie. They're like, do a spooky Luigi's Mansion movie. I'm pretty sure it's all but been announced.
That would be fun. That would be fun.
The meme template from a couple years ago of the Nintendo Super Smash Brothers Extended Universe.
A couple
Oh, it's
years ago, it was
happening.
like a year ago.
It's happening. It's happening.
No,
Yeah,
but like
folks.
there were memes of it before the Mario movie had become like officially official.
Got it.
And it's like we're rapidly approaching the point where we're going to be getting
because
Kirby's going to fly into the end cutscene of each movie.
Suck up a car.
Be like, we're putting together a team.
or he's just going to he's going to devour some sort of elder god and create some sort of black hole event horizon that creates a new metaverse or multiverse that spawns the
You
Smash
get like
Brothers.
Tanuki Mario and regular Mario all
Cat Mario all side by side,
yeah,
pointing fingers at each other.
We're absolutely going to get a triple Mario sequence. There will be a scene where both Marth and Lucina are running side by side, father and daughter.
I do want to say this game qualifies as a lean back game. It's not a lean.
Oh yeah.
I was borderline, but yeah, it was very
it's
relaxing.
got some moments.
I was sandwiching this game in between sessions of Armored Core, where I would come home, play Armored Core, then play Luigi's Mansion, then finish my night off with Armored Core.
Nice.
Just so that I would keep my senses,
keep your chops
snapping.
going. Yeah, a true connoisseur there. I'm
I
on
just
the
need to salt the snail again.
I'm glad we played this. I enjoyed my time with it, but yeah, it did not overstay its welcome. But Andrew, make your peace. This is the furthest you're going to get us to play a horror game.
Well, we're going to be reviewing Resident Evil next week or 2 weeks from now.
2 weeks from now. Just the movie though.
The first movie.
Yeah, just the first movie. Not playing any of those games. Unless you do finally go full sicko and next year
choose your game of the month to be the Resident Evil 1 PS1 original.
No, I wouldn't do that.
We're supposed to play tank controls.
Yeah, exactly.
Become a real purist. All right. Well, I think that is going to do it for us today. A good sucka to all of you out there. Enjoy your time. I think.
And who goes by Luigi? You've got to now, hard G that the Luigi.
Luigi, yeah. Okay, my internet just crapped out for a split second. We managed to do the whole pod without another issue there. So Matt, be on the lookout towards the end, see if something wonky went out there. So I don't know if you guys heard me say.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, a good sucka to all of you out there. It's worth repeating.
Yeah, it
is. Is that the episode title? A good sucka.
And it's fitting because it is we're recording this over Sukkot, so
I have been getting
all those celebrating out there
on the streets of New York City. Harassed.
Good, you deserve it.
Not Jewish.
Isn't your holiday coming up on Monday?
Oh yeah, Italian American Heritage Day,
Indigenous People Day.
All right, folks. We will see you in the next one. As we've already described, we will be doing Resident Evil, the movie, and that's the most spookiness you're going to get out of us. Thank you very much. We will see you then. Bye-bye.